The digital economy and information technology is transforming the way businesses are done in today's world and creating new opportunities for individuals and organizations. Information technology has also changed the way consumers behave, empowering many with new skills and knowledge to drive the new digital life. This is the NITDA story, Nigeria's premier IT regulatory agency through its activities, impacting positively the growth and the development of the Nigeria economy and its people. Welcome to NITDA. The National Information Technology Development Agency (NITDA) was created in April 2001 to implement the Nigerian Information Technology Policy and coordinate general IT development in the country. The agency got its legal teeth through its Act of 2007, which mandated it to create a framework for the planning, research, development, standardization, application, coordination, monitoring, evaluation and regulation of information technology practices, activities and systems in Nigeria. NITDA's role, therefore, is to develop, regulate and advise on information technology in Nigeria through regulatory standards, guidelines and policies. The National Information Technology Development Agency (NITDA) is committed to implementing the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy for Digital Nigeria. The priorities of the agency are developmental regulation, digital literacy and skills, solid infrastructure, service infrastructure, digital services development and promotion, software infrastructure, digital society, and emerging technologies and indigenous content development and adoption. Additionally, NITDA is the clearinghouse for all IT projects and infrastructural development in the country. These have made NITDA the prime agency for e-government implementation, internet governance and general IT development in Nigeria. Kashifu Inuwa Abdullahi is the Director General. In his words for NITDA to meet the demands of today's needs, there was need to rebrand it and retune its vision and mission in line with today's emerging realities.
We came up with the new strategic roadmap and action plan document, which we call STRAP, which has 7 strategic pillars to help implement the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy. Firstly, it's about developmental regulation, because part of our mandate is to regulate the IT sector. But we look at it, regulation is not to stifle innovation. Therefore, we need to change our mindset about regulation. Before, government agencies used to sit down in the office, use an armchair theory to come up with regulation and try to enforce it on the ecosystem. But we changed that approach. We said, why not let us work with the ecosystem and co-create? Because we are not here to stifle innovation, but rather to unlock opportunities within the sector. Then secondly, is about digital literacy and skills, because the digital economy is a knowledge-based economy. Our greatest resources is our human capital, not the mineral or natural resources we have. Therefore, we need to build our capacity, skills, talent, and also we want every Nigerian to be digitally literate, to be able to use digital technology to access government services or participate in the digital economy ecosystem.
We want to make Nigeria a sustainable digital economy. How do we intend to achieve that? We intend to achieve that by facilitating and creating the enabling environment for Nigerians to adopt, adapt, and get benefit from the use of digital technology, and also use digital technology to create value and prosperity. And all that I have said now, we are actually carved out, was actually made, is mainstreaming from the overall overarching policy, which is the National a digital economy policy and strategy, of which is the guiding policy of the IT industry, as the case is.
At a government establishment, you cannot achieve it, or you cannot do it alone, and we cannot do it in silence. Therefore, we have to connect with the external publics to achieve our mandate.
NITDA is poised to actualize its mammoth mandate through strategic and inclusive stakeholder management and engagement, local and international partnership, and efficient utilization of resources in the interest of Nigeria. This is because previous studies have shown that the digital economy is considered the main driver of economic growth in both developed and developing countries.
NITDA anchors the deployment of digital technologies across the country. And this is done every year. That deployment, we have myriads of deployment. One is that we deploy what is called digital economy centers. Now, because the key thing is that we are transiting from a traditional economy to the digital economy, people need to be empowered. Nigerians need to be empowered. And in order for them to be empowered, government has to intervene in one way or the other. And so NITDA, under the leadership of our current DG, deploys 80 every year, a minimum of 80 digital economy centers. What does it mean, a digital economy center? It's a complete package whereby a community, identified community, whether it's a secondary school, whether it's a community center, whether it's a college or any other, is given digital technology infrastructure in terms of computers, in terms of printers, in terms of alternative power source.
The greater percentage of our economic activities is actually around MSMEs and even around the bigger economies, but they solely rely on how data can be utilized to ensure that those values, those potentials in utilizing data to generate economy is achieved. So we work with first Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment to come up with a national policy and strategy on e-commerce, because e-commerce as a service is one of the economic activities that leverage and make use of data extensively.
NITDA's basic mandate is about development of frameworks for the planning, coordination, application, monitoring, evaluating, research of all practices that have to do with IT regulation. So you can see the keyword there is about frameworks. So what my department does is to make sure that the process of coming out with those frameworks is a process whereby the final outcome, the final output is what will be welcomed by all stakeholders. It's not something we want stakeholders to be forced to abide by. We want them to have that spirit of complying with whatever we come about with. So what we basically do is what we call the rule-making process. The rule-making process ensures that we engage with our stakeholders throughout all the process of making that rule, of making that regulation.
In a move to lead today into the future, the National Information Technology Development Agency NITDA is not treating lightly the impact of 5G and cybersecurity with levity. In addition, the agency has remained focused on transforming Nigeria into a digitally driven economy and foster development and effective IT regulation in Nigeria.
We are creating that hype globally. People from the global ecosystem want to come to Nigeria, want to see what is happening in Nigeria and participate in what is happening in Nigeria. So this kind of approach really that what help us, because if you say you do things in a linear way, you will never achieve the expected result. If you want to have an exponential growth, you need to disrupt, you need to be innovative, you need to challenge the status quo. So, and I think for me personally, that's what have helped me in my career progression, as well as running the agency. And also having an open mind and open door policy that anybody with idea can come and discuss it with me.
We design, we develop, we implement, we monitor, we evaluate the deployment of information or digital technology. Let me not say the information technology infrastructure, digital technologies within the agency for effective service provision. Because NITDA is a service provider on behalf of government.
As a full-fledged agency of government under the Federal Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, NITDA has subsidiaries as the Office of Nigeria Digital Innovation and National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. That's not all. It has a semi-autonomous body, the Nigeria Internet Registration Association, NIRA. For full and efficient management of all these, NITDA has offices in different zones of Nigeria for reach and industry growth.
We have been able to implement a number of programs and initiatives, of course in partnership with various stakeholders. For instance, we had what we call the Bridge to Mass Challenge Nigeria program, which is a sponsored partnership by NITDA, where we partnered with Mass Challenge. It's a US-based global network of startup accelerators, and 30 startups went through the acceleration program. They underwent a series of boot camps to sort of give them access to resources that would enable them to scale their businesses both within Nigeria and globally. So we also had what we call the Idea Hatch Startup Incubation Program, which is also another partnership between NITDA and the Japan International Cooperation Agency, but being driven by the ONDI.
Since the uptake of the center, we've been engaged in R&D, that's research and development in the areas of artificial intelligence, robotics, and Internet of Things. And we have focus, one of which is agriculture. Of course, it's a mainstay of the Nigerian economy. So we research and develop products that will aid in the transformation of agriculture in Nigeria. That's been making agriculture digital.
At this point, let's intimate you with some of the structures of NITDA. The agency has departments cutting across corporate planning and strategy, finance and management control, human resources and administration, IT infrastructure solution, cybersecurity, e-government development and regulatory, standards guidelines and frameworks, digital economy development, research and development, digital literacy and capacity, amongst others.
Digital literacy and capacity development is a key pillar of the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy, which is a document that is driving digital economy in Nigeria. And as a result of implementing that document, NITDA drafted a SRAP document, our Strategic Roadmap and Action Plan, and also digital literacy and capacity building is one of these pillars. Investing in the capacity development, especially in IT, information technology, and digital skills, is something that we cannot do away with. We already know that the world is being driven by information technology, and we know that there is a huge gap in terms of skills across the world. So building the right capacity in our huge population would give Nigeria the advantage of accessing digital jobs.
Part of what we do in the e-government Developmental Regulations Department is to ensure that government organizations, that is federal public institutions, have the resources in terms of websites and domain names to bring their services online and make them available to the public.
With a vision to proactively facilitate the development of Nigeria into a sustainable digital economy and a mission to be the apex IT agency, NITDA creates enabling environment where Nigerians develop, adopt, and drive value for digital technology. With the digital economy becoming the driver of all aspects of our lives, NITDA has positioned itself through its core values of people first, innovation and professionalism for the Nigeria of today and the future, strategically as a loud voice in the ensuing digital planet. For more, please log on to www.nitda.gov.ng.